Alex, thank you for joining us. How have you adapted to your first few weeks here in the Highlands with Ross County?
Yeah, I've adapted really well, enjoying it. I think, just the environment here is really good, and the teammates are getting on really well, and yeah, really enjoying it.
You were thrown in somewhat at the deep end with a debut at Celtic Park. Was that a daunting thought when you knew that you were going to be starting that day at one of the biggest grounds in the country?
No, not at all. I was pleasantly surprised, to be fair, and really excited for the game. Just, I think, like you said, to be chucked in there, and it was great. It was just the atmosphere, and to start off my Scottish experience as well, my second one in my life. Playing away to Celtic was a special one.
Did it almost make it easier in signing for Ross County that you had experienced Scottish football before in your time with Morton? Yeah,
massively. I obviously Morton was in the Championship when I went there, and you kind of get a sense, the passion and what it's all about, the run of play, and it really suits my game, the quick tempo, and it's something that obviously I was looking forward to certainly coming up here.
And what were the other contributing factors? Because it was a relatively big move, having been with Wycombe and been very successful there, to come up to Ross County in the Scottish Premiership.
Yeah, so obviously Scottish Premiership, it's a fantastic league. You've got Celtic, Rangers, Aberdeen, Hearts, and this year obviously it's a very competitive league. So I just thought it's going to be amazing to experience them games, at Ibrox again, which I played at Ibrox when they were coming up. So I've kind of had a taste of kind of what it's all about. So it was kind of really exciting to be coming up here and experiencing, I'd say, the fullness of Scottish football, which I didn't get.
You obviously started your career out with Swansea, and you've gone on and played many other clubs. Have you found that as you've gone through to the other clubs in your career, you take something and you learn, you find something out about yourself at every club that you go to? Yeah,
it's like you said, with football, you could be ending up anywhere. Hence, being up in the Highlands, and it was a quick decision that we had to make. But through my career, you learn. And that's where experience is gained. It's not as well, staying at one club. It's about venturing out, being brave, and just kind of stepping into the unknown at times. And you've just got to grab it with both hands and just apply yourself, which I do with every club I've been at. Is give my 100% and then see where it takes me. So you do learn you're very good at moving. We know how to. We've all got our boxes. We know we've got to find a place of storage for our boxes for moving, because that's just the nature of football. So you do pick up little things.
One thing that we know is very important to you is your faith and your religious beliefs. Tell us a bit about the journey that you've been on with that, because it wasn't something that you necessarily grew up with. It's something that you discovered as you went along your journey.
Yeah, it's honestly it's everything to me. To be fair, it's my bread and butter. It's the air I breathe. So, like I said, I wasn't brought up in a Christian home, but when my parents had a very bad split up, and my dad left, and it was a really tough time. But I remember that we were going through some really tough times with the family, but I knew God was in my bedroom with me, and just in those nights where I'd feel so hopeless and helpless and just needed a saviour, and I just felt him there the whole time. So then when I moved to Swansea, my godparents went to a church and they invited me, and it kind of just made all sense. Made the reasons why I was feeling, having them experiences when I was young. And then from that time of committing my life to God, his hand's been on my whole career the whole way, and I could talk for hours and hours of stories and stories of how he's helped me and how he's got me to here this very day.
In a high performance elite sports environment like football, like where you've been at Swansea, Wycombe, Ross County, how important a factor do you think that plays in the ultimate success that you have on the park and the relationship between the two?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think obviously for me, the biggest thing is if you apply 100%, it goes back to that work rate, and no matter where you're at, if you're putting everything in and you're growing, and I think if you find yourself stagnant and not pushing yourself, then there's a problem. So it's always kind of pushing yourself, pushing that limit, and over the years you grow, and it's been a massive factor in my career to be, you know, obviously I'm 26 now and still in a football career, which I've known so many players who've dropped out of football from the age when I was 16 to where I am now. You see it's hard, it's a hard game, football. It's very cutthroat, and you know, it's all about also opinions, so you just got to apply yourself the best way you can, and you know, see where that takes you. And yeah, it's worked out for me so far.
And obviously through your faith as well, you discovered your better half, we'll call her Rachel, who is a performing artist, so she will have a sense of the pressure and the stress that's on you when you go out into stadiums that are at full capacity every day, and she'll be able to relate with you on that level as well, I would imagine. Massively,
you know, with her, and that's the thing, it's so funny because she couldn't do what I'm doing, and I probably couldn't do what she's doing, you know, and standing in front of playing, you know, in front of people. So I think that kind of, it's a high performance, both sides of music and football, so we both have an understanding of that. So when I'm on the pitch, she knows, and when I'm seeing her upstage, it's tough, but that's where we just support each other in that and through that. And like you said, in everything you have ups and downs, and when you're in the down places, it's just encouraging, putting your arm around and saying just keep going, and that's certainly what we've done in our marriage.
Does it almost make it easier to block out the outside noise when you have someone like your wife beside you who gets it, that you don't always have to zone in, look, read, see, listen to the outside noise that comes from football, and especially in Scottish football when it's such a polarised, microscoped environment every single day?
Yeah, so that, you know, my wife has been an amazing support for me in my football. You know, she's been there by my side, and not only my wife, but I've got some incredible friends, you know, my pastors that I've been with, and just dear friends, just people who are, I think that's the most important thing in life is people and your relationship with people, and to stand with them and go through life together, and that's what it's all about, is you know, through the good and bad. And I've had so many people come alongside me and help me through the very tough times in my career, and I pour my heart out to them as well, because they're amazing people.
What are the ambitions for Alex Samuel at Ross County?
I think my ambitions is really, I'd love to score goals here and really push the team up the table, you know. And I think with seeing the team, we've got such good players in this team, and I think it's just understanding that. And for me personally, I'd love to play for Wales. That is something that I've always inspired to do, and especially playing in the highest level in Scotland, it puts me in a great window, you know, for recognition as well. But for me, I just want to get Ross County up the table exactly where they deserve to be. So that's kind of my ambition, and just enjoy my football. You know, I think last season was quite tough for me regarding not being in the team and not playing, and you know, it can be quite tough, and you can kind of not fall out of love, but just kind of sometimes just find it really tough. So I think my ambition is just to get to that place of enjoyment again, and just enjoying what I love doing, you know, so that's probably my ambition.
Final question for you, Alex, and I think it's one that most football fans that follow just football in general would want to know. What is it like to win a playoff final at Wembley?
It was the most crazy experience ever, just because obviously it was during COVID as well, so you had an empty Wembley, you had to, you know, the whole playoffs, we played Fleetwood in the two legs, and then we won that, and then, you know, walking out at Wembley, you just think, wow, this is amazing. And I think it was one of them where, how do you deal with the pressure of that? I think I just saying to myself, I'm just going to enjoy this. Like, how many opportunities do you have you know, in your life to walk out of Wembley and play at Wembley and playing in a major cup final. You think not many, so you just got to embrace it, enjoy it, and you know, thankfully that we won and got promoted. But it was a special night. It was something that's dear to my heart.
Alex, thank you for taking the time to join us, and we wish you all the best for the season.
Thank you very much.